Let's spend a few more minutes finishing this if we can. First thing I'll do is, if we look at the bit under the chin, the lower part of the chin, it's still a bit on the small side. I'll just extend that out a little bit further. You want it to be roughly the same width as the nose. Okay, right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the flesh areas. I've got quite a vibrant pink that I don't really like for this, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on first of all. So it's the top half of the ear, but again this is just roughly putting in the colour. I'll be blending it later. Going around the eyes. And on the chin. And then also just on the nose. It depends on the picture. Have a good look at the pictures. Sometimes it's a slightly more mottled effect on the nose. Sometimes you can see kind of the flesh of the inside of the nostrils. That looks really unnatural. It's not very good at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix it with a little bit of yellow, which then tones the colour down to something a little more natural. There, you can see that already. It just looks so much better. And that's before I've even blended it. That's just the basic colours. That will do with that. So, quick smudge there. Done. Nice and easy smudge there. A lot of the lower parts of the ears get covered with the hairs, so we don't need to worry too much. Around the eyes, it is a bit too much, but it doesn't matter, because all we do is we then go over the top of it later with a bit more white and also a bit more black to put it exactly where we want it to be. I'll be putting a little bit more black on the nose area. Right, so that's the skin tone bit done. Let's carry on with the white again. Strengthen up some of the lines that we've now lost. We don't want to be putting in strong lines like that. It's got to be still keeping that texture. So allow your chalk to go up and down a little bit as you're doing it, so you've got a little bit of variety. There we go. I think that will do there. A few more strokes around this side just to take it to the edge. There we go, right. Now, moving on to the charcoal. Last thing we need to do, how am I doing for time? 3 minutes, right. I want to start. Allow some bits to still stay a little bit lighter, so above the brow just a little bit. And I'm not putting in dark lines, I'm just dotting in little areas here and there. Imagine you're actually using the charcoal to smudge the chalk. That's not a bad way of thinking of it. Around this lower area here of the lower part of the chin, of the jaw, I want that to be a little bit darker, so I'm pressing in a little bit heavier just to give me that line. Same with the mouth, so it goes beyond where the mouth is. You see there's a little downstroke and it comes up to the centre. Now we don't want it to be a solid black line, so we then just soften it all out again. And if you need to add a little bit more chalk, you can add a bit more chalk. If you need a bit more charcoal, we just keep going back over and over until we've got it the way that we want it, the way that we're happy with it. So hopefully you can see I'm just dabbing really lightly to keep that nice sort of furry texture in place. I might need to do an extra video because it does take a little bit longer. There we go. Right, for the eyes, you've got to make sure you've got a nice piece of charcoal that you can work with where you've got a decent point. If you don't have a decent point, spend a few seconds just rubbing it down until you've got something. So that's going to be my point there. I can work with that. And now I'm going to redo my eyes, and the eyes are the most significant thing, or one of the most significant things. It's what you really look at. So I want to make sure I've got that nice eye arc that comes down nice and low. And then just a slight crease for the top of the eyelid. Can you see that there, just over the top? And it's not as harsh as some of the other lines. Same thing on this side. And this side got a little bit smaller because I went too high up, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the top of it with the charcoal. Get it to the size that I'm happy with. There's that line there. Just keeps it nice and tidy. That's a little bit too harsh there, so I will use the chalk just to soften that out a little bit. And then I'm going to put in a little dash of light, like so. There are my eyes. Face is pretty much done. Got more of a cheek on that side, so I just want to make them match. So let's get the angle about the same. Right, for the ears, slightly darker on top. So those soft strokes again. And then you've actually got quite a few darker hairs as well. So now we're going to use the sharper lines. And again, they're coming out from the ears. So don't have them going in all random directions. You've got to allow the fur to flow in a natural direction. Some at the bottom as well. And then we need a nice sharpish point again, if you don't have one. There we go. And then it's the base of the ear where it gets really quite furry. And can we see how it radiates out? Make sure you get a sharp piece if you can. Keep rotating your chalk if you need to. Right, and just to finish off, because it always looks better, there we go, a koala bear in just under, what would that be, 15 minutes, something like that.